Alright, so the last step in our CSR / Qualcomm QCC3008 programming tutorial bonanza, which this definitely is. I've been recording for what, like 1 hour, 2 hours. My voice is starting to break down, but anyway, let's power on. So in the first video, in the PS Tool video, I've shown how to connect the Bluetooth module. And so I'm not going to go over this again, but you will need a CSR USB SPI programmer, or if you're really feeling lucky, an FTDI programmer that will run a custom driver, which will still be able to talk to this chip. Anyway, so you've used PS Tool to rename your chip and give it a cool address. You've used Config Tool to disable the microphone and configure the LEDs so you can control your amplifier or your booster or whatever you're using in your speaker. Next and last step, well, not last, but next step in this puzzle is creating an equalizer profile. Just get all the kinks out of your frequency response and have as good a sounding speaker as humanly possible. And so for that, we'll be using the universal front end. Again, links for all this shit in the description, as well as the datasheet for the chip. So we'll be connecting to the USB SPI, and you can see that it has this address. If you are not connected properly, you will not see this. You'll see 0 or 1. And you can see transport unconnected cannot be open, even though you are connected. So for this to work, you will need a stream to be in place. Doesn't matter the volume, but you will have to stream stuff to the Bluetooth module. And that way, the Kalimba DSP will be activated and energized and be able to communicate with the rest of the chip and with the computer. So let's hit this again. And it should work. Like, let's just hit Music Manager, connect. And so what I like to do here is, first of all, resize this window because it's stupidly small. And the way I work with this is you click live mode over here and you can monitor your pipeline. If you are on a call, it will be a different pipeline. I haven't done this in quite a while, but we should be fine. So basically there's 2 banks of equalizers. One is a bit smaller and one is a bit bigger. This you can actually control via the Gaia Android app. I'll try and link this in the description as well. If not, then do write me in the comments and I will do it. Basically the speaker PEQ is what the manufacturer would set up, and this would be immutable. This would be ensuring as smooth of a frequency response as possible. So let's, for example, let's go for some bass boost. Let's say 40 hertz, whatever, and let's just boost this by 5. It is a very good practice to then bring this down by 5. Click apply so that nothing gets pushed above 0. The reason you would do this is if you have, for example, everything at 0, and your audio, your MP3 audio or your stream or your AAC, aptX, whatever stream, sends a maximum amplitude, right? The maximum amplitude the codec can support, and this brings it further, right? Boosts it further. You will actually max out the DSP, right? It won't overflow or shit like that, but you will hear distortion if your DSP will saturate. And you will see this because right now we're streaming, right? And for example, check the volume on the phone, right? And see as I raise up the volume, where are we looking? Yeah, over here. You can see that this value comes closer and closer to 0. And when it basically goes below 0, like above 0, because we're negative here, it will say saturated, right? It depends on the song. This is not a particularly long song, loud song, but this is, for example. And this will distort, right? Let's for example make it distort. Let's just put 10 dB here, so everything is pushed way above. So it'll just say saturated. And at this moment, this will sound like complete and utter garbage. garbage. And so yeah, what I recommend is being quite conservative with this. For example, have a profile like this and then measure your other peaks and do your stuff. My friend Yakubas is the go-to person when it comes to equalizing and flattening speakers. I apparently suck at this, so I'm not too good at this, but yeah. And what you'll want to do with small speakers is actually bring down the super low end, because otherwise you're just wasting amplifier power, because your speakers are not going to reproduce this at all and they'll just burn power needlessly. Okay, so let's say you've created your equalizer. First of all, as a sanity check for this, you would create something like this, is something that I do often. So create a very weird sounding equalizer. Change the Q to something that would make it very wide. So let's say 0.2. 0.2. Let's go for 0.1 even. Q factor. And so hitting apply now should create a very audible difference in the sound, right? So this way you know your equalizer is working. So I would recommend firstly doing this, just going over the entire process with such an equalizer and making sure stuff works. And so the way to do this is, I don't think, to be honest, I think I tried it. I don't think upload params works. You guys should try it, and if someone has success, do write it down in the comments and I will pin it as a top comment. But the way I've always done it, and the way that it has always worked, is I just hit save params and just say weird EQ params. Boom, save it, and this is just one entry, right? Actually 2 entries. Let's see if it enabled the decoder sections. Yes, it has, but just for AAC. I would want to copy to all. Check the EQ, that's fine. Hit save again. Weird EQ params number 2, and this should actually be different, and this is the way to do it. You will want to enable the decoder for everything. That way not only iPhones will get an equalizer. So let's see if these are the same. Yeah, so they're quite different. So 2 has a lot more entries at the top. And so this is important. And what you do now is, again, go back to PS tool, hit connect. Make sure you're connected to your device, right? So in this case, we are. And hit merge. And weird params too. And now you can hit reset blue core and close. You can see the Bluetooth module has reset itself. And now if you go back to, first of all, you have to hit play again because it has disconnected. Hit music manager again. Boom. Make this bigger again. Hit the live view again. And we should see that our settings are still kept, which they are, meaning that we have successfully saved the DSP profile to the flash chip, and it will be read at boot every time. So yeah, basically the last step would be finding a way to get bass boost to work on these. It's definitely doable. JBL and Bose have been abusively doing this for quite some years. It has to be done with some custom software in the Blue Lab. I don't think so. So far, me and my friends have not been able to do this with just the front end. We need to write some Kalimba software. It shouldn't be too hard, but so far no one has had the time or talent to do it. I, for one, haven't had both. So yeah, but one future tutorial will be on this. The more pressure you guys put on me in the comments, the more likely it will be that I will do it. I have been postponing this series for about 2 or 3 months, so I am a piece of shit, so yeah. So that's been it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Be sure to check the other videos. There's going to be links in the description, goodies for everyone. I'm out. Have a good one.